The black silhouette. When I was younger, I used to have this recurring nightmare almost every night, like 3 to 4 times a week. I had this for years, to the point where I started to be self-aware in it. It was about this black figure hunting me down. The nightmare happened in random locations, but it always ended the same, with it chasing me down. The nightmare started with me in a random location. Could be my house, school, yard, a random forest, or pretty much anywhere else. These locations always had minimal light, and if it was outside, it would always be exclusively at nighttime. I would proceed to figure out where I am and what I was doing there. I would be waiting for someone or solving a problem like fixing a door or helping someone out that isn't there. I would get this intense feeling of fear and danger as the whole place would go silent. No noise except for my breathing alone. I would run and run for no reason except the thought that I'm going to get caught, even though nothing is chasing me. I get nowhere though. I could run for minutes and look around just to find myself in the same location. Then I could see him, a roughly 6-foot-tall silhouette of a humanoid thing. Immediately, I knew what was going to happen. There was no choice in the matter. I'm unable to physically move or do anything, so no, even move my eyesight away from him. Then I would hear its loud footsteps galloping at the incredible speeds he was sprinting towards me. I did nothing, because I could do nothing. When he finally reaches me, he doesn't stop. He runs straight through me, and I would feel intense cold and wake up sweating with my heart racing. And this would repeat, almost every night. It got to the point where I could control the dream and be self-aware, and already recognize if it's going to be the same nightmare with the black figure. I could change everything, even switch locations, but as soon as I saw a glimpse of it, I was helpless. Couldn't move, couldn't change anything. I just wanted for him to catch me. I stopped having this dream a couple of years ago. I'm 20 years old now. I used to get it ever since I was 12. I stopped having it around 18 to 19 years old. I still don't know what it meant. Silly but scary nightmare from when I was 3 or 4 that I still remember. This nightmare must have scared me so badly as a 3 or 4-year-old that it has been imprinted into my conscious brain. As a kid, I slept on the floor and stared down the hallway towards the bathroom. At the end of the hall, the fire alarm was on the wall, and it had a red glowing light. For some reason, I was terrified of it. The darkness and the red light looked like an eye or something. In the dream, I woke up, so I thought it was real. I saw the fire alarm come alive and jump off the wall. It had arms and legs. It stood there for a second, then walked left into the bathroom. This was the first panic attack of my life, I guess. My heart was racing in the nightmare. It had come alive. I had to go to the bathroom, and now it was in there. So being in the dream, I kind of teleported to the edge of the bathroom doorway and peeked around the corner. It was sitting on the toilet and swinging its legs around, pointing its body downward. It then looked at me with the red light. After that, it went dark. So yeah, as a child I was terrified of it, but I don't remember ever thinking of it or being scared except during that nightmare. It did give me a panic attack. Reoccurring nightmare. I have nightmares often, and just started a new set of reoccurring ones. However, the one I'm going to post about today wrapped up a little while ago. It started with my watching this family go about their business. Nothing crazy. It was a mother, father, and a little boy and girl aged around 7. They lived on a lake in the woods, actually a really scenic view, and did normal family stuff like swing in their swings, eat dinner, play games, etc. After the dream started happening for a while, I wasn't alone watching them. About 15 to 20 little dolls had joined me. The dolls were all identical, came up to about mid-thigh, and looked old with painted-on faces, and almost like they were made of porcelain or even wood. The dolls would never look at me, only the family. But I would sometimes look at the dolls. We watched the family for a while, and one day the family decided to go for a sail on the lake with their boat. Usually the family did things alone. The dolls would never look at me, only the family, but I would sometimes look at the dolls. We watched the family for a while, and one day the family decided to go for a sail on the lake with their boat. Usually the family did things alone, and the dolls wouldn't join them, but this time every single doll piled onto the boat with them, but the family didn't seem to notice. I stayed in the shoreline and kept watching. As the boat set sail, every single doll's head turned around and stared directly at me. And then the boat started slowly sinking, taking the dolls and the family with it. Major creepy. Spider dream. When I was younger, maybe 5 to 7-ish, I had a dream of a big, green, glow-in-the-dark spider. I tried to flee, would get up in the sofa and kitchen table, and it would scratch against the furniture I was atop of. However, my dad could walk around with bare feet. I remember on part of the dream I stood on our sofa, terrified, crying for my dad to help me. He picked me up and saw how the spider followed us. We came to the kitchen, and he sat by the refrigerator and put me in his lap. He started feeding me carrot cake. I love carrot cake. But I tried to ask him to do something about the spider scratching at the legs of the stool, trying to get me. My father was completely oblivious to that and kept force-feeding me carrot cake. Also, I could have sworn that was real until I got to the age of 11 to 12, and my mom pointed out how that dream made no sense at all, because those spiders don't exist. And also the spider was big, like 10 to 15 centimeters between the legs, and we don't have bigger spiders than like a quarter of that here. And by glow-in-the-dark, I meant that back in the day there were glow-in-the-dark toys. They were like white-green and would glow in the dark after you charged them in the light first. Puzzle room. I keep having variations of this one over and over. I don't ever remember them 100%. In the dreams, I descend into a basement, and along the wall at the far end is a hidden door. Once this door is opened, it reveals a small corridor. The floor of the corridor is metal and seems to act as a bridge over a source of water. The bridge hugs against the right wall of the corridor, and a small strip of the water is visible on the left. On the other end of the bridge is a rusted metal door. The door is opened via some kind of puzzle mechanism. This is where the dream gets vague. I am unsure what the puzzle is or how it is manipulated. Sometimes I manage to open the door. Sometimes I do not. There is always another corridor and 1 to 2 doors on the other side. Each of them requires another solved puzzle to open up. Eventually, there is supposed to be something desirable on the other side of one of those doors, like a treasure. Now we get to the r/nightmares part. In and around this basement is a thing, watching and stalking. It's a proper Del Toro-style monstrosity I call Blue Eyes. Blue Eyes has been haunting my dreams for decades. The most striking feature of the thing is its oversized blue eyes, hence the name. It's a 7-foot-tall, slightly hunched humanoid. It's impossibly thin and wears no clothing. There is no indication of any kind of sex. The skin is marshmallowy white in color. At the end of its long, thin arms are hands that terminate into talon-like fingers. It has 2 appleseed slits for a nose and clumps of long hair hanging from its scalp. The mouth of the creature is just a black pit in the shape of a distorted, happy face. It never usually attacks directly. You just catch glimpses of it peering around corners at you. And much as that line from Mulholland Drive, if I ever see that face in the waking world, that will be all she wrote for my heart.